Welcome back to Hannity. So the sale of aborted fetuses by Planned Parenthood may not only be the only wrongdoing uncovered by the Center for Medical Progress. In fact, a high-ranking Planned Parenthood doctor was also caught on tape discussing her potential compliance with some pretty unethical practices involving patients receiving abortions. Now, please be advised that the video we're showing is extremely graphic. It's disturbing. You don't want your children watching. Ready? Watch this.
If our usual technique is suction at 10 to 12 weeks, and we switch to using an iPad or something with less suction in order to increase the odds that will come out as an intact specimen, then we're kind of violating the protocol that says to the patient, we're not doing anything different in our care of you. And to me, that's a kind of a specious little argument, and I wouldn't object to asking Ian, who's our surgeon that does the cases, to use an iPass at that gestational age in order to increase the odds that he was going to get an intact specimen. But I do need to throw it out there as a concern, because the patient is signing something and we're signing something saying we're not changing anything in the way we're managing you just because we agreed to give tissue.
Pretty grotesque. Joining me now, the man behind the new campaign that's exposing Planned Parenthood's unethical behavior from the Center for Medical Progress. Daleiden is with us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, Sean. How are you?
All right. I mean, I watched this. Not only in both tapes are they basically saying, well, the law is up to interpretation, and they pretty much are acknowledging that they know it's against the law. Then they're quibbling over prices. Then they're talking about wanting to buy Lamborghinis. Then they're talking about how they do it so that they don't ruin the specimens and crushing this part of the baby and not that part of the baby. Walk us through the history of how you got into this and what your take is.
Sure. So for the past 2.5 years, the Center for Medical Progress conducted a long-term, in-depth, comprehensive investigative journalism study of how exactly Planned Parenthood harvests and sells the body parts from the babies that they abort. And this is something that Planned Parenthood has been doing for decades at this point. It's something that, by their own admission in their press statements, that for the past week, that their top-level leadership supports and knows is going on. They've admitted that they harvest the specimens, and they've admitted that they receive payment for it in exchange for those specimens. Really, the only bone of contention that's left is whether or not they receive a financial benefit from those payments and exactly how much the profit is. But as you can start to see in the video that we released yesterday, Dr. Gatter, the president of Planned Parenthood's Medical Directors Council, admits that they really don't have any costs and don't have to do anything when they harvest the specimens, so the money that they're getting is straight up profit to their bottom line.
All right. Now, their claim at Planned Parenthood is that, oh, this is all heavily edited. Explain the context of each tape that you released and how long you had taped them, and are there more tapes coming out?
Sure. So for the two summary videos that we've released so far, the full unedited footage of those conversations has been available on our YouTube channel from the very beginning, so the public can judge for themselves the accuracy of the summaries that we put up of just the highlights. Ultimately, these are 1 to 3.5 hour long conversations. So again, it's all very interesting, and frankly, there's information in there that we have to leave out for time reasons that that I think just continues to confirm our case. So the full conversations are up there, and everybody can look at those and get more information.
Well, I didn't see anything from what I read and what I saw that it was taken out of context. This was in the proper context that you released it. It wasn't, if you're releasing the full tape, as you said, everyone can watch it if they want to spend the time. How many hours total did you tape?
We probably have hundreds to even thousands of hours total of videotape over the past 2.5 years. Of the really, really shocking, compelling stuff, we've probably got dozens upon dozens of hours, and that'll be continue to be released in the days and months to come.
Now, so we're going to see tape after tape after tape as bad as the two that we've already seen, or worse?
Exactly, even worse.
All right, so let's talk about the funding. $500 million a year, taxpayer dollars. It's now, we've got, what, 3 separate investigations, 7 separate states looking into Planned Parenthood. Ultimately, what would you like to have happen?
You know, ultimately, I think that the public is seeing this information, and the public is pretty outraged. There's already over 2.5 million YouTube views on the first video that we posted last week, and the second one is starting to climb up there. People are responding with a lot of shock and a lot of disgust at the fact that Planned Parenthood is harvesting and selling the body parts from aborted babies, and doing so all the way with $500 million taxpayer dollars every single year. So there needs to be an immediate moratorium on all of Planned Parenthood's public funding. And then that needs to be pending the results of the 3 congressional investigations and the multiple, I think there might be 8 now, state investigations that are going on.
It's against the law to harvest organs this way. It's against the law to perform abortions specifically designed to protect the lungs, the heart, or the liver. Do you expect by the time all is said and done that there's going to be some indictments of some of these people?
I certainly hope that Planned Parenthood is held accountable to every single law that they're breaking in the course of this kind of activity, these real atrocities against humanity of selling the body parts and using partial birth abortions to do so. And I think that their top-level people, their medical directors, their executives, both at the national level and all across the country, are going to have a lot of explaining to do once everything is said and done.
Explain your motivation. Why did you decide to undertake this investigative report on Planned Parenthood?
You know, we did this because Planned Parenthood has been harvesting and selling the body parts from the abortions that they commit for decades now. And no one has held them accountable. They've held themselves above the law, and this is something that is offensive to the American public. It's offensive to us as human beings. It violates human dignity, and it needs to stop.
All right. It's grotesque, it's gruesome, and I am glad that you were able to expose this. We'll be waiting for the next tapes to be revealed. Thank you, sir, for being with us.
Thank you, Sean.
And coming up, you'll hear